Yeah. No,
Three. And you got to remember to unmute. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and whatever else you identify as that's watching this show. Welcome to RoadFS Detail Memoirs.
Identify as a billionaire.
Whatever you want to identify. I want to identify as a billionaire, but today I'm not.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So want to welcome everybody to the show. Remind you to go out and subscribe and like our YouTube channel. In addition to having great guests on the show, we also do some awesome giveaways. We're going to do that later on with some buff and shine stuff, so hang with us.
Yep, so I am super excited. COVID pneumonia is done. I'm back. I'm feeling great. So plus Rod doesn't have to like cover his face. So we're super excited to be back with you guys. And I'm excited because I've been talking to our guest off and on for the past couple months. I've been really, really impressed with him. I've been following him on Facebook and all of his social media. And so I want to welcome Mr. Logan Fick, owner of Ficks Auto Detailing out of, West Township, Michigan?
Yeah, we're in Auburn, Michigan.
Auburn, cool.
Yep.
Well, we're super excited to have you. So, I mean, you are, compared to Rod and I, you're a young buck, man. So I've been watching you and your team. So how did you get started in detailing?
So I used to work at an auto body shop, and we did a lot of kind of cleanups and getting everything ready to go out the door. Towards the end of me working there, I kind of started to get into detailing more. So it kind of followed me home. I would start researching it at home, and I'd be like trying to find out the best way that I can, clean a seat, or the best way that I can clean out an engine bay and stuff like that. So it kind of started to stick with me, and I tried to learn as much as I possibly could while I was there. And then around March, when COVID hit, I just kind of, went for it. I noticed that everybody was staying at home. So I found a 1998 Dodge Ram for $1,200 online. Great deal. And I bought everything that I needed, pressure washer, chemicals, everything like that. All in, I think I was all in it, like $1,800. And I got going. I noticed everybody was staying at home, so I went to them. And it was, really good at the beginning. But it was really hot, 90 degrees, detailing out in the sun. I mean, it's not easy, it was not an easy task, but, I got a lot of pictures. I started advertising a lot, not to the extent that I do now, but, I started advertising a lot on Facebook and things like that. And it just kind of took off from there. In December-ish, we started kind of looking into the ceramic coatings and really going deep into the ceramic coatings. So I know if you looked at our page, you can probably tell that that's a lot of what we do is ceramic coatings, paint correction, interior coatings, all that type of stuff. So from there up until now, we've just been pretty much all ceramic coatings. We try to get in as many as we can, but there's obviously a limit on it. But so started mobile, kind of went from there, tried to learn as much as I possibly could. And then, saw the opportunity to get into ceramic coatings because it's a great thing to get into. And, from there, we've just kind of been sticking with it.
So you guys are brick and mortar now? You've got a shop, or are you literally doing ceramic coatings in the middle of winter in Michigan?
No, so so we're not mobile anymore. Right now we're out of my right now
I
we're
kind of
out of
picked
my
up on.
garage. What'd you say?
I said I kind of picked up on that when you said started ceramic coating in December. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be terrible out in the winter. So I've been working out of my garage right now. But next month, the first of next month, we actually are going to be getting a brick and mortar shop. So that's very
Nice.
exciting. Yeah, very,
Yeah,
very exciting.
congrats. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's in a nice city, busy road. It's 3,400 square feet, so can't really ask for much more than that.
No, that's a good
Uh,
size.
That's
yeah.
amazing. I mean, you literally started your business less than 2 years ago.
Mhm.
You started mobile, and then you moved into your garage as the services that you were offering required you to have a, protective facility. And now you're, getting your own shop, which
Yeah.
is awesome, especially the timeline. But I also noticed, you do a lot with your team.
Yep.
So let's talk about that decision to bring people on to help you in growing your business and serving your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So the main reason I really brought on a team is you want to delegate your time, the correct way. Now while I could sit there, polish ceramic coat vehicles, every day and probably make better margins, um, my main thing is I'm dedicated to creating an experience unlike any other. And my customers aren't customers, they're friends, so I wanted to be able to hyper focus on that and really get to know my customers, get to know why they're doing it, and just really bring business into the door, work on advertising, networking, a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, me and one of my guys were just out in Philadelphia when he first came on the team, and we went out to a training there at Menard Premium Detailing with
Okay.
Detail Wise, I believe, Chicago
Yeah.
Auto Pros, their
Yeah.
whole deal,
Okay.
and that was awesome. So that was a really great experience. But we just been killing it. We've all been, I mean, trying our hardest to do the best we can. And it's a lot training people, trying to get people in the door. And especially right now in Michigan where it's all nasty, it can be a lot. But but with those two guys out there, it gives me a lot more time to be able to network, which is something that I do, very, very, very often. I'm always on Facebook, trying to contact people, trying to contact dealerships, calling back previous customers. That's kind of my day to day, along with advertising, social media and big things like that.
Yeah, which is a really good point. Is that one of the advantages of bringing people on that people talk to us all the time about. I'll throw in a uh, little promo here, but we're doing a business series, Business 101 for detailers and really any business with Prentice Sinclair. So a lot of these videos will be coming out if you subscribe to the RoadFS Detail Memoirs on YouTube. You'll get the notifications, but those are coming out. We did the first one last week. But those will talk about the advantages and disadvantages of having employees. One of the advantages is you can actually spend your time working on the business, so advertising and promoting and networking, as opposed to, everybody knows the situation where you're sitting there working on a car, and your phone's ringing and you got to make a decision. Stop doing what you're doing that's actually bringing in money to answer the phone to bring in potential money, or vice versa. That's that's a big decision, and that's a hard decision, especially if you know that you got a customer watching you. They're looking
Yeah.
out the window while you're working on their car, and are you spending more time working on their car or promoting? So
Right.
that's a big advantage of it. And so kind of go into this has all happened pretty fast for you. This is pretty
Yeah.
unique in a situation, and that most people, I know people that went 6-7 years as a mobile detailer before they ever even thought about getting an employee and B, a shop.
Yeah.
So this is happening really fast. Have you seen that? What has been kind of the goods and the bads of that?
Well, there's a lot of goods, but there's also a lot of bads. So it's a lot, it's a lot to take in at once. So you really have to be structurally sound, Like you have to have a set schedule, or else you're either going to fall behind on something, or you're just not going to get something done in general.
Right.
You know, obviously there's a lot of goods to it. You know, we get to provide a service that's exceptional, and we get to do it in a timely manner with all the people that we have. And we get to grow the business. You know, we get to scale it. That's one of the big things, is trying to scale the business, you know, to a point where I'm going to be hiring, you know, 3 employees and then 4 employees, you know, by next year, I'm hoping. But it has all been very fast. But it's hasn't really been too bad, because I've networked a lot. I've had a lot of people that have been through it. You know, they can troubleshoot with me and really help me figure out, you know, what I have to do. So I would say one of the biggest takeaways is make sure that you're structuring yourself right, and that you're finding people that have been through it, you know, because if you're just trying to do it all on your own, I wouldn't be where I was today, where I am today. You know, without people, without mentors and stuff like that, there's absolutely no way that I'd be here, because I'd be running around with like a chicken with his head cut off. You know, it would be crazy.
What's been the biggest challenge for you?
Well, the biggest challenge is probably just filling up the schedule, because that's my biggest job.
Yep.
And when you don't have as big of a name as somebody that's been in it for, you know, 4, 5, 6 years, which some of our local people have been, it's hard to be able to take away from that business, you know. So it's really about growing our name to a point where people, you know, say ceramic coatings, the first thing they think about is Ficks, you know, and eventually when they say paint protection film, I want the first thing they think about is Ficks. So the hardest part has really been getting people in the schedule. You know, we've been doing really good, but in Michigan, it'll be really up one week. You'll book out the entire month, and then it'll be 2 weeks. You'll be dead. So, you know, and it's stressful. So that would be the biggest thing, is stress, you know.
And that's just, I mean, again, just on a basic business level, that's almost every service business. I mean,
Right.
People think that's unique to the detailing business. I mean, that's everything. That's us in the software industry. I mean, one week you got 15 customers that need it tomorrow, and then the next week you're like staring at the wall going, wow, I guess we'll do some stuff internally. So
Yeah.
and
Right.
that balance is important, especially when you're talking about scheduling, because you got to make sure that you're not overbooking. I mean, you can't have 3 ceramic jobs in one day and then have the next day have nothing. You got to figure out how to give that customer options.
Right.
I heard a really good advice from a customer in Maine. It's actually Scott Mesha at Total Eclipse Detailing. Big shout out to him. He basically, what he does is he offers them 2 times, and that way he's not rejecting them. He's giving them options. He's like, well, I can do it Thursday at 2 or Friday at 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that way he's giving them 2 options, but really that way he's not having to say, I can't do it Wednesday. Right. Which is, you want to lead with a positive. Always lead with a positive in your answer. So I can do it Thursday, or I can do it Friday, or any day next week. But that way you're given a multitude of options, and they're going to select one of those options, even if they wanted to do it Wednesday. So
right.
Little tricks in there just to help you stay positive and sound like you're not giving them a negative or a no.
Right.
One of the things that I want to go back to is, earlier on, you talked about creating a customer experience. What does that look like for your customer? And what does it look like from your perspective as a business owner and a service guy? Because those are 2 unique sides of the coin. And I don't think a lot of times we talk about that.
Yeah. So it's really all about providing an experience unlike they've ever had before. So when they come in for the inspection, you know, you set expectations, you make sure that they're not too high. I actually watched one of your guys' interviews with somebody else, and you said, you know, set them a little bit lower, so when you do give them the vehicle, that they're blown away. Right. So we do kind of follow that. Another thing is making sure the customer is updated. You know, they're trusting you with their vehicle that they obviously love if they want to get it coated and protected. I mean, they love that vehicle. And with that vehicle being gone, you know, sometimes 2-3 days, you know, they might get a little bit scared. So I keep them updated. I send them text videos, probably every 4 hours.
Wow.
And it's not annoying. They love it. You know, they absolutely love it. And, you know, it's a big part of the experience is providing, you know, something unlike anybody else. And I know that that's something that not a lot of people do is keep them updated. You know, usually people are going to drop off the car, you know, this day, pick it up this day. And that's just not how we do it. You know, we make sure that they stay updated on every part of the process. They know exactly what we're doing. That way they can, you know, feel better about the vehicle being gone.
Nice. No,
That's
that's
cool.
a
That's
really good
super
idea.
cool.
That's a really good idea that I haven't heard before. Is to send them videos and stuff during the process. So
Yeah.
So looking back over your last 18 months, 2 years, what are some key things that you've learned in the process that you think are absolutely critical or helpful for other business owners?
Well, it can be different for everybody. It really depends on what your goals are. I mean, if you want to be a one-man shop and you want to book, you know, 2 coatings a week and you want to be highly efficient, then that's what you want to do. But for me, in my situation, it's all about trying to scale the business to something larger than it is right now. So when you're scaling, you have to keep in mind that you're not going to make a lot of money. You know, you're
Mm.
going to be spending. So if you're really trying to scale a business, you really can't be scared to spend all that money that you just got. You know,
Mm.
you should look at it as, okay, I just made this much this month. So if I set aside, you know, 10% and put that into my bank account for the emergency fund, I have this 90% to put back into the business and scale it.
Mm.
Yep.
So really don't be scared to spend money if you're trying to scale. But like I said, everybody's situation is different. Another thing is network, you know, like we talked about, try to find people that have been through it. And sometimes you have to pay them. Sometimes you have to pay mentors and sometimes you have to pay for advice. But if you take out those little gold nuggets that they give you, it's well worth the value, you know, as long as you can connect with them and they can actually give you good advice. You know, make sure you find somebody that has been through it and has already created a very successful, you know, detailing ceramic coating business already.
Yep. Well, and I think that the value there is that networking in general. So we know a lot of people that network just with other businesses in their community, and you can take pieces of information from them. Again, I don't think it's any different. Detailing is no different than any other businesses that you have to set goals, like you said. Set a margin, right? I mean, you can be making a 10% margin and go, this is awesome. I need to hire 3 guys. You hire 3 guys, you start doing 3 more vehicles a week and you're making 10%. So
Right.
you've got to look at it. If a 10% margin is great, adding more people makes that 10% equals more money. But if your 10% is not netting you more dollars at the end of the day, if you're only making $5, you've got to do something differently. You got to change something. So,
Right.
and
Right.
what I see with you is a lot of flexibility. You know, you're willing to do this and then this, and there's a lot of flexibility going on. And I think a lot of people get into a routine and they are fearful or they're really reticent to change anything because they don't want to rock the boat, right? They have that
Right.
little bit of stability and they're like, ooh, I really don't want to rock the boat. You know, that's we sometimes get into the same situation. We're in a good situation or we're stable and we got everything smoothed out. And it's like, man, we don't really want to rock the boat. But sometimes you have to do, like you said, you have to say, well, what would it do if we brought this other person in and we went after this other line of business?
Right. It's, you know, security is nice, you know, feeling like you're, you know, you're set no matter what happens is nice. But, you know, like getting into this shop is going to be a huge, you know, risk factor. I mean, I'm going to be basically quadrupling my rent, you know, it's going to be, it's going to be a lot. But I sat down when I first found the shop, talked to a lot of people that have already been, you know, been through it and they got shops and they've created a successful business. And I had to make a plan, you know, so I
Right.
had to plan out everything and make sure that if you know, everything hit the fan, then I would still have enough to at least get through the winter, because the winter in Michigan is just a nasty, nasty thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a really important point.
It's bad.
You have to have a plan. And what you just said is you have to make sure the basics are covered. You don't want to overextend yourself so much that you're like, well, this is it, man. I'm rolling all the dice. And if I make it, I make it. If I don't make it, I'm looking for a job. That's a pretty severe decision. Make sure you've got everything covered so that you're not on the streets when you make those decisions.
I like what you said, and I want to make sure we capture this, because you said, look, I'm investing in scaling, right? I'm taking 10% and I'm setting it aside for an emergency fund, but overall I'm investing. And so to go, you know what, I'm going to invest in a $3,400 square foot shop. You're looking at it not from the standpoint of increased costs. While you're considering that, you're looking at it is, what is it going to enable me to do as far as serving new customers, right? And I think it's really challenging for a lot of small business owners is when they start to make that decision of investing, a lot of times they just look at the cost. They're not looking at the opportunity in conjunction with that cost and going, you know what? Yes, this is going to be a big leap of faith for me, but I can project out and I can plan some real significant growth to better serve my customers.
Right. And, I made a plan when the beginning of this year, I made a plan for the next, 4 years as far as what I want my business to do.
Right.
And in order for me to align with that plan, I have to get into this shop, and I have to get into, paint protection film and tint. So that kind of all aligned, and I looked at it. I looked at the numbers. I made sure that I can, afford it if everything hit the fan, that I can still get through the winter. And I made the decision that if I wanted to fulfill the 4-year plan, then I'm going to have to get into a shop. I'm going to have to get into PPF and tint,
Yeah. And that's what, there's always an opportunity. There's always a risk as well. I mean, you can overextend yourself like Jason just mentioned there, but I think that you mentioned, and it's really important, you made the plan and you looked at the numbers. Can I make it? Even if the shit hits the fan, can I make it? And that's the key, is making sure that there is I call it grabbing the oh shit bar. And I used to do off-road racing, and there's a handle in front. And years ago, somebody's like, "What do you call that bar?" And I'm like, "That's the oh shit bar. If you're grabbing that, you're puckering. It's So if that happens, can I make it? And that's the key. What is the bare minimum that I need? Jody and I look at that a lot. We'll look at our board. We'll look at our 12 guys, and we're like, what is the bare minimum I need every week to make sure this is there? And then we project it out 3, 5, 6 months at a time. At times we got projects that don't go out 6 months. At times we got projects that go out 1.5 years, and that's a really great day because it's more stable. And then we can make other decisions. We can say, hey, we're going to buy a bunch of equipment for the studio, or we're going to go on this trip, or we're going to sponsor this event or whatever. But those things are very important as well. And I think that I don't think you can overemphasize that enough. The planning and the years and years and years ago. And this is our 12th year in business together. This is actually our 14th year of working together.
Awesome.
And about 35 years of knowing each other.
It's been too long. Dude.
You're sick of them, aren't you? You're sick of them.
It's just like, dude, I'm white. It's all white.
So I think the key to that is looking at those hills and valleys, and can we make it, and what do we need to do? And at times you really do overextend yourself because the reward is there. I'm going to take the savings account, like you said, and I'm going to take every dollar out of it, and I'm going to go for it. But I know that I've got work lined up for the next month, so I know I don't need that as a backup, right? I mean, that's the key is looking at it. Years ago, our accountant told us somebody needs to be in there looking at the books every single day.
Yep.
And at the time I thought that was crazy. And then I started doing it. And now there's not a day that goes by that I'm not in there looking at the numbers. I mean, he calls me Scrooge McDuck. That, for you younger guys, that's a cartoon reference from the 70s. So anyway,
Gotta swim in the money, baby. It's all
Hey,
about
Yeah.
I'm
swimming
the
in
younger guy that didn't get it, so
Yeah.
you
It's
go look
a
it up.
cartoon. Scrooge McDuck. The guy
Scrooge
was like,
McDuck.
he
He's
basically was a Scrooge. He didn't want
he's
to
a
spend any money.
total miser.
Yeah.
And, he counts every penny and he swims in his money. He's got a, pool of money. And I'm like, yeah, let me go swim in some money.
That's right.
perfect.
Anyway, so that's the thing, is it's kind of a balance there, and that is also a really good thing to have as in a mindset, as a balance of that. Sometimes you're going to be spending and sometimes you're going to be saving.
Right.
And I think that your story is really unique in that you were able to do that. So what is the community you're in? What is the size of it? What's the larger cities you're near or anything like that? Just to give people an idea of what kind of market you're in.
Oh, well, right now, the town that I live in has 2,000 people. So it's puny. Like, it's very small. Yep. But we have surrounding cities. Saginaw, they have around, 100, 150,000 people. That's where we're moving. There's Midland.
Fun.
Yep.
Yeah, there's Midland, which has, I think Midland's around the same as Saginaw. It's a fairly big city. And then Bay City. Those are like the tri-cities, and we're kind of smack dab in the middle of all of them.
You are totally
that's not where the
dating
rollers
yourself.
came from. You said Bay City. I said that's where the rollers came from. It's another 70s reference.
Today.
Look it up. Bay City Rollers.
Not gonna get it then.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't get it. I mean, Bay City Rollers.
Nobody that's under 40.
I mean, that came out when I was like 12. I mean, it was great. Oh man, dude, you're killing me. So anyway, man, so how do actually, before we get to how do people find you,
we're gonna do our giveaway.
Yes.
So this is the 11th month, I believe, of the Buff and Shine giveaway. What we've been doing for you to look at, Logan, is Buff and Shine gave us this massive amount of pads and products, and
wow,
it was unbelievable. And we are doing a giveaway every single month. This is our September giveaway, and then we have an October giveaway, and then we're gonna there's other stuff that we're gonna be doing ongoing. But it's been really an awesome thing. The guys at Buff and Shine have been unbelievable. I personally have never worked with a company that has been so generous with not only their time but with their products, and it's been phenomenal. So
shout out to Clint Hintz.
Huge shout out to Clint Hintz and Julio and the whole crew at Buff and Shine. If you have not met any of the guys at Buff and Shine, not only the reflection artists, the actual detailers that do this stuff, but if you haven't met, Julio and Clint and the guys at Buff and Shine, they're phenomenal people. So with that being said, we have a couple of big giant boxes full of pads and some other freebies in there, and we're going to reach in this bucket right here of all the people that have subscribed. And yes, Sarah, those guys are amazing. So, and by the way, Sarah, did you pick up on how small his community is and how well he's done? Just keep that in mind. Okay, so we're gonna reach in here.
Winner. All right, let's go.
Reach in there
and see who we got. And see Mr. Jason Gale
for J&L.
Dude, thank you, man.
Detailing.
That's awesome.
Jason Gale. If you're still on the call, you just want a box of pads, brother.
That's right.
That's awesome.
So super cool. Well, we want to thank you for taking the time to visit with us this morning.
So we need to know, how do people get a hold of you? Where do they find you?
So you can just follow our business page, Ficks Auto Detailing, to see the stuff that we're kind of, doing, and watch us day to day and what we do in the shop and stuff like that. As far as like seeing what I'm doing, you can just, add me on Facebook, Logan Fick, and reach out to me too. Absolutely. You can reach out to me. And I always love talking to people, networking, and, figuring out different ideas. It's always about the little gold nuggets that you can find. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, please feel free to. And, we can talk and shoot ideas back and forth.
Yeah. And I got to give you a shout out. I mean, you do some really cool stuff on Facebook, showing, taking wheels. And so, I mean, if you just want to go be entertained by a great detailer that's really passionate about growing his business, make sure you go check out Ficks Auto Detailing on Facebook and Instagram. And Logan, we want to thank you for taking the time, and much, much success for you in the upcoming year, and excited to see where you'll go.
Thanks a lot. I
Yep.
appreciate it.
And Jason will get a hold of you and get your address and all the stuff to ship this box out. And you can just swim in the pads. You can be like that.
Be like
Scrooge McDuck and a bunch of
There we
pads,
go.
man.
So in
Awesome,
fact,
guys.
I'm gonna put a picture of Scrooge McDuck in the comments. So
And the Bay City Rollers.
that's right.
No, I'm going to search it up right after this. Trust me.
You got to do it, man. You got to do it.
Well-
Thanks again for watching, everybody. We really appreciate all the comments and the views and likes and everything, the subscriptions. We really appreciate it. Keep it up. Share with all your friends because we'd love to give more love.
That's right. And we will check you same time, same bat channel, but with Prentice St. Clair next week. See ya.
See you
Thanks a
later.
lot, guys.
You
Thanks,
bet.
man.
Talk to you later.
Yep.